Hi everyone, Tam's here. It's time for another Tea Chat Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Before we get started, I just wanted to give a little shout out to my family friends in the state of Texas. Just know that we are thinking about you and you are very much in our thoughts and prayers, and we are hoping the rain will subside soon and the waters will recede. And I hope those of you that are watching are also keeping our friends in Texas in your thoughts. I have two people that I know that watch this channel that have sent me letters from Texas, and I've looked up their towns. I'm not quite sure they have been necessarily affected, but I imagine this Hurricane Harvey is going to be affecting us all. The ripple effect will be quite great. So I have a little candle burning for you in the corner and my little Don't Mess with Texas sticker. Okay, recap for the week. I finished up week 8 and started week 9 of The Artist's Way. I am proud of myself because I actually went on not one artist date, but kind of one and a half, I guess. I extended it out because I had missed so many in the prior weeks, and I thought I'd share a little bit about that with you. What I did for my artist date. I have to be very creative with my time, so I kind of planned this in advance. But I knew this past Saturday we were having our Tampa Bay Letter Writers Club meeting. It's a club that meets once a month. And in the past, we've done a lot more interactive talking, socializing, that sort of thing. And we've made a few changes, and we are actually devoting at least half of the time to taking quiet time and writing a letter or two. And so I knew I was going to have at least an hour to do that, and that was wonderful. So I did. I took an hour of the 2 hour meeting time, and they have these wonderful little areas that you can set up, and there was someone typing on an old typewriter, and there were tables with stationery and lots of things to share, and I got 3 letters done, which was wonderful, and I had some fun playing with some other people's fancy stationery supplies. So that was part of my artist date. The second part is I did schedule in some time to stay over at our meeting space, which is the Paper Seahorse. I talk about it all the time. It's my favorite stationery shop here in the Tampa Bay area. And I just allowed myself some time to browse and look at some of the new products and see what was out there. And I did splurge. I have shared this in another video, but I splurged and got the Olive Edition Traveler's Notebook, and I will be sharing how I'm using that in the coming week if you're interested. That sort of thing. Another thing I wanted to share with you, because I get so many questions about people say, I don't have anyone to write to. I really don't want to write to anyone in my family, and I haven't had luck with pen pals or whatever, or things just haven't taken off for them in their letter writing just yet, and it does take a while. It does not happen overnight. But I did want to share with you, while we were at our Letter Writers Club, there was someone that shared with us an organization that I had never heard of. It's called Girls Love Mail, and their website is girlslovemail.com. And apparently, this is an organization that will connect letter writers to women who have been diagnosed with cancer that want to receive mail. Now this is definitely a giving thing on your side, because I'm not sure these people will feel up to writing you back or be interested. But if you love the art of letter writing like I do, that should not matter. And there are people out there that actually want your written letters and your artwork and that sort of thing. And I can't think of a better cause. So I'll link their website below and you can find out a little more about them. I'm going to do a little more researching to see what all is required, and maybe our club may do something later on in the year to send some letters out. But I thought that was very interesting, and I was very grateful that the lady that attended the club meeting shared that information with us. Okay, and another extension of my artist date this week is I have been spending the past year, I have a great interest in how women are combining their spirituality with their art and making and craft and any creative outlet. So I allowed myself a little more time to dig into that this week. It's something I hadn't picked up in a little while. I did splurge on a book about it. One of the things though that turned up in my time spent researching this week is the idea of turning your creative space into a sacred space. And I had pretty much been doing that just naturally with my little writing and reading room, and I've shared that before in a vlog. It's just basically my front living room that I didn't have really anything to do with it, so I turned it into my modern version of a parlor, but I have made it a bit of a sacred space, and I guess that's, what you do in terms of that is up to you, but I had never thought of turning my crafting area into a sacred space. So I have been researching what people are doing in that area, and I look at everything, the whole gamut. I mean, there's just so many interesting things that women are doing, and men too, they're doing to combine those two parts of their life, and I think that is so fascinating. I'm very much interested in that. Okay, I had mentioned that I was back into reading. It was something that I had been drawn to in doing the Artist Way course. And this past week I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I am currently reading Women Who Run with the Wolves. And that is a nonfiction book. And I am finding, now this is another one of those timing things, just like I mentioned, the Artist Way was very much a timing thing. For a couple of years, I didn't even touch the book, and it sat on a table. And I've known about Women Who Run with the Wolves for a couple of years now too, and it just wasn't drawing me in. But week 8 of the Artist Way, I just happened to pick up and start reading a little bit of Women Who Run with the Wolves, and I started to see some commonalities and things like that. And it really resonated with me so far. Now, this is a book I'll probably just read a bit at a time. It's a chunky book, and it's a lot of information coming at you. So I'm not sure I will read it cover to cover in a week's time or anything like that, but I often keep books by my bedstand that I just like to read a chapter at a time, and that's kind of where I am with the Artist Way. Go figure. Those of you that have been following these T-chats, I started doing this when I started the Artist Way course, and I was going to try to do a video a week for each chapter of the book, and this is where we are. We're getting ready to go into week 9 of the course. I will tell you that I slacked off a little bit in week 8. I did all the little exercises all but like one, I think. And you don't really have to do them all. They're like prompts for you to do. But I did several of them. And this week we're really honing in on what our goals are and how we can move toward our goals. But I have to admit, in doing the Artist Way, I'm really rethinking. It used to be no problem at all for me to think of a goal or something I wanted and to plan out the steps to get to what I wanted. But I'm really rethinking what it is I want. I know that sounds weird. It's probably just a personal thing for me, but I feel like I'm at a crossroads, and I just want to pause for a little bit and rest, because I am a very much a type A personality. I have been my whole life, and I think I can let things like that, I can get carried away with goal setting and just getting things done and having a striving attitude. Um, and I can forget why in the world it is I even did it. Was it because I wanted it, or was it because I thought it was something I was supposed to have? And that is something that the Artist Way is helping me to see, which is why I am taking the course. I had heard that these types of insights would happen with people like me that are coming from more of a rigid left brain side and enjoy creativity and right brain type activities, uh, but it hasn't been like a part of my life my whole life. It's more like something new that I've embraced in the last couple of years. So, for what it's worth, there you go. I'm just being very honest in what is happening as I am doing the course. But one of the things that stood out this week when I was reading Women Who Run with the Wolves, and I thought this was very interesting, is how your craft or your art or your hobby or whatever creative outlet that you may have, how beneficial it is for you. And of course, they go into some other things that I won't draw out for you unless you've read the book. You probably already know that. But I thought that was just perfect timing. And in the Artist Way, we talk about synchronicities and things like that that I never really was open to until the past couple of years. And I thought, wow, that is really weird that I am reading that in one book and I'm dealing with this other thing in another book. So, and there you go. I did want to say thank you to all of you who last week I had kind of put out there that I wasn't sure if I was going to do these tea chats every week, and several of you gave me some great feedback, and I really appreciate it. And I think what I'm planning to do, I did want to finish it out for August, but what I'm planning to do moving forward is I'll probably just do these like once a month or twice a month, just so I can have a little more information to share with you, and I can get back to doing a lot of the videos that people have put requests in for during the tea chats. Like I said, was a way for me to take a little break this summer, and I have a lot of requests for people to people have asked me how I've made certain things, so there's some how-to videos in the pipeline, and they've asked for updated tours of my creative space once I decorate it for the fall, and they've asked for a tour of my reading and writing room. That's a little better than the shaky one I did a couple of weeks ago. That was not very good, so I'll try to do a better one. And plus, like I said, I have been rearranging and just using a lot of the things that I have to change up my spaces and make them a little more personal for me and align with a lot of the exercises that I am doing in the Artist Way. So that's been really interesting, and those are the types of videos I'm hoping to get into the pipeline for September and moving forward. And then that helps me to get back into making things because I had taken a little bit of some time off. I did do my Rolodex project this summer, and I have been doing my journal pages, so don't be surprised. I may do just a summer journal pages flip through at some point, something quick, because a couple of people have actually asked about that too. Anyway, that's about it for this week. As far as a fine for this week, I'd really like to open it up to you guys. I know we still haven't heard all that has probably gone down in Texas right now because it's still raining. And I'd like maybe in the discussion, since last week's discussion was so good, maybe if we just share ideas on what we can do to help with Texas. If I'm sure there's going to be a lot of websites and things like that, Red Cross and all those types of things made available to us at some point. But if you have any ideas, several of us, of course, don't live near Texas, and so we can't necessarily take our trucks in there or whatever. but we may be able to do something small and simple to help out. You never know what might help. And I'd also like to do just a quick shout out to all the first responders and the service people and the volunteers that are going in there and helping out. And I actually have several friends and family that work for the National Weather Service and NOAA and all of that, and they have been working around the clock with the storm. So there's so many people that are just so giving of their time and whatever their jobs are. Just a lot of people to be thinking about right now, and a time to be grateful for what we have. So anyway, that's all I have for this week, and I will see you later. Bye.